What's going on, friends? James Nguyen here with the Alpha Red Comic Channel. Welcome to the Sunday Night Draw Stream. I don't know if you've heard this week, but the talk of the town is Sydney Sweeny, sorry. The character that I'm going to draw in the comics, her name is Cindy Mooney. So Sydney Sweeny is the talk of the town because of her jeans, her American Eagle jeans video. And man, like, what's the big deal? It's a jean commercial. Like, I don't think I would have ever come across the ad if everybody wasn't talking about it. So I heard that American Eagle came out and apologized for the campaign. I don't know. It's stupid. Everybody's talking about American Eagle. I didn't even know that American Eagle was still around. So who knows, right? So I thought, that I want to get eyeballs on the channel and introduce people to Alpha Red. So I thought, what is the most popular thing that people are talking about that it's kind of associated with comic books? And Sydney Sweeny was in Madam Web, and her character was Silk. Couldn't remember for a second. Brain fart. Old man. So what I did was I looked it up, and the outfit is really, really cool. I don't know if you guys watched Madam Web. I did not watch Madam Web. I have almost zero interest in it other than curiosity. I heard it was boring, predictable, all that stuff. But I do remember the storyline with Ezekiel in Spider-Man, where he was his mentor, J. Michael Straczynski with John Romita Jr. That was one of my favorite story arcs in that run with J. Michael Straczynski and JRJR. So I'm curious. I don't remember if he turned out to be evil in the end. It's been so long, but he's the main villain in Madam Web, and so I watched the clip where they have he has a dream sequence, and all the female Spider women are fighting with Ezekiel, and it was a good scene. I liked it. Apparently, that was the only scene where they're in costume, so it is what it is. But that's who we're going to draw today. I'm going to say hi to everybody who's in the chat, and then we shall get started. All right. Fong always first in the house, not always, but most of the time. My brother from another mother, Fong, says, I hope James draws some good genes during this draw stream. And I say, we shall see. All right. Patrick Daniel in the house. I'm always down for some Sydney Sweeny action. So in the comic, it's like a Korean girl. Her name is Cindy Moon, and she's Asian. So I think that's Korean, because like the prime minister or whatever, his last name was Moon. I don't know if any other Asian ethnicity has the Moon last name, but she was drawn very specifically as an Asian girl. And so Sydney Sweeny is probably the least Asian looking girl that I would have picked. But hey, no love for the Asian people. Whatever happened to end Asian hate, or whatever that hashtag was for a second there that everybody was championing for us. The mental gymnastics one has to do in order to believe the ad was offensive is pretty exhausting. It is, absolutely. Like, what in the world? For sure. Patrick Daniel says it really is just a commercial for denim. Brooke Shields did them years ago. Yeah, and when you see the Brooke Shields commercial, that, if anything was eugenics propaganda, that was closer to eugenics and propaganda. She says something about selection of the fittest or something like that. I'm like, whoa, that's a little, Kyle. Anyway, you're not here to listen to me ramble on and on. So this is the costume from the movie, and I don't know if you guys know what the costume even looked like. It does not look like the costume from the comic book, so that's cool too. But this definitely has like a Spider Woman meets Venom vibe, like a black suited Spider Woman. But yeah, So here it is. I kind of got started. I'm going to set this over here on the side, on the side, on the side. And we are going to get down, get down, get down. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. It has been pretty nice. Let me situate this so I don't turn the thing off. I get a little carried away when I prepare for this stuff. Sometimes I just turn on the camera and go. But today I was like, you know what? If I'm trying to draw somebody who kind of looks like somebody or is based on somebody like for real, then I will do my best to do a little bit of preparation. So as I was doing a little research on Silk, I was finding out that she was an Asian girl, that her and Peter Parker, when they were shacking up, at least it looked like it from some of the interior pages that I saw. But tis what it is. Like, so yeah, I did some research, guys. Did some research. I did not. Did you guys go and see any movies? I said that I was going to watch Fantastic Four this weekend, but time got away from me for sure. Time definitely got away from me. So, and I want to go see it on a Tuesday, a cheapy Tuesday. So I am planning not too hard and fast, because I don't know if we have cheap theaters around here or if that's like a national thing where it's always cheap everywhere on a Tuesday. But I think Patrick Daniel, you said you were gonna check it out on a cheapy Tuesday. So you'll have to give me the old thumbs up, thumbs down, best out of 10, best out of 5 rating, however you feel is best to describe the Fantastic Four. So I, like you guys see where I'm getting the Venom vibes, and even her mask looks like it's like a symbiote kind of it's got a symbiote kind of vibe to it. She got a little butt chin there. So I don't know. So Patrick Daniel says, still waiting to see FF going this Tuesday. So I might also be going this Tuesday to check out the FF. I heard some really good high praise reviews from some normie people. They think that they are comic fans. And, hey, if you think you're a comic fan, we'll take you. We'll take you. He was wearing his, this particular guy came to Bible study and he had his Fantastic Four t-shirt on. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge comic book fan. And I was like, brother, I told you that I drew comics and you did not say that at all when I brought it up that I do comics. So, but we'll take him. He gave Fantastic Four rave reviews. He says it was better than Superman. So I said, okay, I liked Superman. So it's good for normies, apparently. So we'll add that to the review, the mental reviews for the movie. So Fong, you never said whether or not you went out and watched what Rob Liefeld says is boring. Boring. So we can talk about Rob Liefeld too. I don't know if you guys caught the I don't know how scandalous it is, but he promised the guy that he would use his Youngblood winning entry as a cover in 2025. And the guy, I feel for the guy. He's probably super excited. And why he didn't privately ask Rob about the status instead of asking him publicly, I don't know. Not how I would have done it. But we can talk about that if you want. We can talk about that. Jay Scott in the house. Hey, James, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to everyone. Fong says, are you going to do colors? I want to see how you color a black costume. Yeah, I can. There's not much to it. We can definitely go for the black. We can do some colors for sure. For sure. Since it's going to be, I always say, it's going to be super easy. Not a problem at all. But, and then it always takes up like the whole time. So we'll do the colors for sure. Fong says, no movies for me this weekend. Taking it easy a little bit after Comic-Con. Understood, sir. Understood. Also, I received the books yesterday. Great work, sir. Thank you, Jay Scott. Thank you for your support, bro. I appreciate it so much. So much. So I am launching a pre-order thing. Not that you guys need to pre-order. I'm just, if you see, I think I hit the button over here. Did I hit the button? Yeah, I think it posted. So on Fund My Comic, you can add a link to the video if you have it posted on YouTube or some kind of web hosting platform. So I posted the commercial, and I will show the commercial here at the end. There's no talking. It's just there's an animation that I had made that I was hoping to put out earlier, and you may have seen it. I don't know if I showed you here or not, but I've shown some people somewhere. I don't think I posted it publicly, but you may have seen it privately. But much like the animation at the end of the video, I had the same guy do the same using pages from Alphabet number 7. He put together an animation, and he did I was like, holy smokes, he really goes through the story. And then right at the end, he like holds off from spilling the beans. So I appreciate that, so that I can use it as a commercial. Let me see. I think it's just black, right? Yeah, it's just black in the. Man, this was. So I did get it started a little bit early, so I shouldn't be too surprised that I got this far this fast. So, see if I missed anything. Oh, we're good. We're good. So I couldn't tell when I watched the trailer or the scene, the dream sequence where they're all in costume, that what was I going to say? How the webs came out. So I was all confused, very confusing, because it was just like a bright light. She put up her hand, and it was like a bright light, and then web type stuff was coming out. But obviously, it's Silk because their name is Silk. So I don't know I don't know if how it comes out in the comics. They do the same thing in the comics. Not so much that it's a bright light, but like she puts up her hand, like at the camera or something, or at the reader, and then they'll cut to the person being like webbed up. So, all right. If we're gonna color it, guys, I think this is as far as we go. Oh, hang on a second. I gotta get some of these other costume details there. So, but yeah. So, what have you guys heard about the gene controversy? Is it the sexual nature of the commercial, or is it the eugenics Hitler reference? Oops. Hang on a second. I'm going to take you guys know, I'm going to do a little snapshot. The pencils. I don't always have my camera with me, my phone with me, but I happen to have hunted it down. All right. So we shall start off. Let's just grab them all here. Even. Oh, no. Not going to do that. So I like using cool gray. I know that there is a thing such as warm gray. Oh, look at these. Can't believe I stuck these in there. I've never tried using the warm gray because I'm not a fan of the warm gray. So everything I have has that lighter color. All right. So we'll start off with, let's see if this shows up. Like if I use, like for Copics, they use C1, which in Prismacolor speak is 10% gray. So let's see if we can, let's try to clean it up as best we can. So I'm seeing if it will work if I just go with coloring, getting the pencils colored. If that can save me some time and money. I love JC Grande's inks, but if I can save some time and some money, just having the colorist color the pencils, and I've had it done, and the colorist obviously prefers coloring the inked stuff. It's easier to find a lot of the lines to grab and whatnot. But for the sake of speed and economics, I'm debating on switching over to just having the pencils colored. So there's definitely a trade-off. JC Grande brings a lot to the table, and it looks fantastic for sure. But, so that goes that way. So we'll do, so this is the C1. I can't believe how dark this C1 is coming out. And maybe it's just because it's going over top of the pencils that it's giving me some pretty good visibility. Usually when I use the C1, it is almost useless. Almost useless. So I was going to use I initially started off looking for Jim Lee pictures to try to get some good female anatomy. I pictured in my head that this costume reminded me a lot of Jim Lee's Jean Grey. So I looked up a bunch of pictures and I was like, you know what? I have a Jim Lee art book, and it's very nearby. I'm not gonna pull that out, but I told myself, no use looking up the pictures. I'll just look through my book. And then I said, you know what? I should look up how J. Scott Campbell draws just any female character that might look like her that I could kind of be inspired by. So when I looked that up, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try my own pose and see if it works out. So this, guys, is my own pose. Pretty proud of myself. Pretty proud. So what I'm doing here, especially in these parts that are definitely black, the suit is definitely black. I'm just coloring it as if I'm coloring the in-betweens, because it's going to be really, really black. So might as well just go for it. And the thing with these markers is that they bleed. So if you go too close to another line, it'll just keep bleeding over. And you might as well not have taken the time to stay so far from that line, because it just takes it over. Just food for thought for if you're a colorist. Let me see if I missed anything. Revan Saber in the house. Good evening, all. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Are you using alcohol markers? I am. So Copic markers are alcohol markers. I think most of mine are. I do like. There's a set of watercolor that I like. I think they're called aqua markers. And so I looked them up because I bought them on a whim at Michael's. There was a set at Michael's, so I just went ahead and bought them. And the colors are so nice. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like it has this. It does feel like watercolor, I guess, is the best way to describe it. And so those are the only alternative ones that are not alcohol markers, I believe. Now I have my daughter let me use some of her, gosh, I don't even know what they're called. Everybody is using them now. Copas. So she let me use her set of Copas, and they are actually paint. Like, it goes on top of your stuff. I'm like, whoa, it's a different experience for sure using that. Let me see. Okay, so it comes up. It's gonna go up, and then up on the shoulder. Up on the shoulder. Does it go over? Yeah, and then creates another spiky over here. But yeah, so as you try stuff, I know, Fung, that you said you bought some stuff and you're thinking about I don't know if you started trying, but you should definitely just go for it. Go for it, dude. Okay, I think that's good for that base layer for the black costume. Let's go in here and just use this because it's cooperating so well, because you can see it. Usually you can't see it as well at this point. So it's usually I'm jumping to the C3, which is the 30% gray, which is what I have here. This is what I use probably the most, to be honest with you, just because the C1 is usually not visible. So I don't know if you guys, you know who Sinclair is, the guy who colors for Jim Lee. And like that's, I forget what his first name is. It escapes me right now. But he apparently can do these kind of markers too. And I was watching a thing that he was coloring, a video where he's coloring Ryan Benjamin's Batman, a picture of Batman by Ryan Benjamin. And it is so good. Like, it's as good as his computer colors, I think. It just has just like energy, really good energy to it. But if you're following him on Instagram or whatever, Alex Sinclair, that's it, Alex. Okay, guys, I got to duck out early tonight. Happy drawing. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for popping in here, Patrick. Take that dog for a walk. Don't let it pee on your leg. Funk says, for this drawing, where are you imagining the light source is shining in from? I'm just going to go from the top. It's really the easiest for me, especially when I'm just for the video and stuff. Makes it easy to remember. That's just kind of my go-to. I'm not too adventurous when it comes to the light source. I know that Jim Lee makes it look easy, and he's like, "Oh, I'll do this light source, I'll do that light source." But for a guy like me, I need just to not have to think about that as much. And so, for the sake of my ability to be able to talk and draw at the same time is it's one less thing I have to think of. One less thing to think of. So, but yeah. So it's very hard to, I mean, Alex Sinclair has like a super crazy set of colors too. So, and it wasn't a small picture. It was like full on comic page size. I think it was even a double page spread, if I'm remembering correctly. And it was a killer picture of Batman. I want to say it's Batman and Wolverine, maybe even. But you guys will have to check that out. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So I'm thinking about like all these little details that are going to come in afterward, like getting in between the legs of the spider. And so, oh, what? I never did her face. I forgot that her face is really, it's got like in the movie anyway. It has this leathery shine to it that is not anything like the comic book version. So some people were saying that Sydney Sweeny is not that attractive. You guys heard that? Anybody claiming that she's not that attractive? I mean, I get it. I get it. She's not like, I don't even know who is super attractive. I don't know who I consider super attractive anymore. But she had like a 9, right? Like an 8.5, 9. There's prettier girls for sure. Prettier girls. All right. So the next, I just keep going up and up. So the next one would be the 50%. Let's go 50. Let's go 50. Scale of 1 to 10. You guys want to weigh in? Oops. Forgot her shoulder over here on the other side. That's a family show, so you guys don't have to weigh in, especially if you're married and you don't see, you're a blind man and you don't see women as attractive or not attractive. No, nobody weighing in. Let me see. Is this still a 10? Yeah. So, like, she throws out like silk. I don't know. Too many spider people. She was just like a female Spider-Man, from what I saw in the comic. That they had interiors of an Amazing Spider-Man comic, and she's kind of flying around like a female Spider-Man. So here's the 50. Here's the 50. Now is where you get kind of, this is like where you're building in the contrast, and you're really gonna define like where the light source is coming from. So that's the shadow from her chest, right? Comes up right underneath, and then right underneath that is like her rib cage. So I come in a little bit on that. And so you got to bring it back in, because girls don't have abs like guys have abs. I mean, some girls can, but for the most part, like a fit girl doesn't really have abs that like pop out like a 6-pack. It's more of this just like kind of a flatter area, and it's hard to describe without making it sound negative, but they have like this fat layer, like this roundness, softness thing right there. So I don't make it up, guys. I don't make it up. I just draw it. I just observe and follow. And then you decide if I observed correctly. You get to decide. I got the ribs. You know. The libs. All right, let's see what we got here. Fong says, I'll just say Sydney has nice, good-looking jeans. The costume is essentially the Spider Woman from Secret Wars. Yeah, that's. I think somebody digitally put that on her, like the eyes, the bigger eyes, and yeah, it looked pretty fire. I liked it. Diggity dig, dug it. I dug it. I dug it. So sorry, Fong, no jeans. She's not wearing jeans. I had thought about like maybe putting her in like one of the poses from the ad, but it was a little too suggestive. I know that she has clothes on, but I wanted it to be more family friendly. So I kept it, keeping it more just super heroic. So this is still the 50% cool gray. And I know that I'm going to come back in with the inks. So this is just kind of placeholder. It's going to be like the edge of what I'm going to ink. So my writer, Ray McKay, asked me, now what? What's next? I know he's chomping at the bit to see number 8 because he's already written it, and I just have to reread it. I want to see if maybe I'll bring in an editor to make sure that it's as solid a story as I think it is. But I've got another project that I committed to. I don't know if I've talked about it here, but it was a way to fundraise instead of depending on you guys to buy these pictures and stuff. I was asked to do some artwork for a it's called Bible Visuals International. They asked me to do an Advent thing, and the pay is like real money. It's not like comic book money. So I was like, wait a minute. If I do some like real art, I'll show you guys. I've been working on it all weekend. So it's just 12 images. But hopefully that paves the way for being able to pay for Alpha Red number 8 without shaking you guys down too much. But yes, it's real money. It's there's 12 images, and it's really fun. I like the idea of it because I've not really ever done it before. What are her eyes? What color are her eyes? Maybe they're blue. Isn't that what everybody's all up in arms about? Blonde hair, blue eye girl. Let's see. See, I always go to these aqua markers for like just like a light, colorful version of whatever color it is. So that's color. Let's see. And her lips, can I get just very, very subtle. Very subtle. Let's see. I know it doesn't have to look exactly like her, but it's hard. Likenesses are extremely, extremely hard to do. If you're good at likenesses, boy, you got the envy of a lot of artists. All right, we got that. And we might go just a little bit darker just for more contrast, like in through wherever, like underneath everything, especially underneath her chin. Let me get this peach. Peach is what I always used for skin tone, for the old Caucasian skin tone. I don't know. Can you guys see that? I don't know. Are you guys into cryptids, blurry, like Bigfoot type stuff? I found a Christian podcast that talks about aliens and UFOs and all that stuff, but they're Christians, and they add that element to it. So very cool. It's called Blurry Creatures. Got hooked on that yesterday as I was doing my drawings for this Advent book. They talk about Bigfoot is how they initially started the podcast. And so whoever comes on, the first thing they ask them is, what do you think about Bigfoot? And then they can talk about whatever else, ghosts, UFOs, whatever that person's expertise is. And man, let's see if I can get. I don't want it to stand out that much. That she's got some kind of a design element on her forehead. It was just supposed to be shiny. So shiny. So going back to Rob Liefeld, he can do whatever he wants, but he should honor his word. Yeah. I don't know that he can go back now, especially because of what the artist. He's kind of made it a big deal because I am not friends with him online, but I know that there are people who know who he is, who have met him. They say he's a nice Christian guy, but he's kind of waging a war against Rob Liefeld. And I think ultimately his status obviously has elevated. He's talented too. Eric, whatever his last name is, he's a talented artist. So he's definitely bringing some attention to his artwork by picking a fight with Rob Liefeld. But I think ultimately, if he wanted to ever work with or for Rob Liefeld, I think that ship has sailed. And it's not the end of the world. But and so I was thinking, because I entered that contest too, and I did not. I don't know that I was even close to winning, because it really was because of that guy's entry, Eric's entry, that Rob jumped on and said that the winner of the contest would be the artwork would be featured on a Youngblood cover. And what that did was it made like 10 other people jump in and also try to become to enter the contest. And so a lot of good artwork came out of it. So I mean, I guess it's because he did it on the thread where Rob was posting a bunch of the covers, and he said, "Hey, the winner? You know, are you ever going to use this picture as a cover, as he promised?" And I guess maybe that was enough to annoy old Rob. So I was thinking, like, what if, because he has come out, Rob has come out and said he's going to pick somebody else. He's going to pick somebody else and use their cover. I think, you know, just to kind of spite Eric. So, I mean, whoever he picks is going to be like, that's going to be a firestorm creates another firestorm, you know? Like, do you stand with Eric or do you stand with Rob? I don't know. I don't foresee him reaching out and saying, "Hey, I want to use your cover." But would I? Should I? I'll think about it. Think about a way. What are the pros and cons? Because he was throwing shade at Eric. Rob was throwing shade at Eric, saying that he was not a real fan. He was just opportunistic. And I said, yeah, that's why a lot of us do the contest. Speaking of, I did enter this week's contest for a character named Lethal. And this was before everything blew up. You know, so let me see. Her hair is not really blonde. Let me see. But it's not red either. Let me use a skin tone. It's goldenrod. So would I, you know, just kind of go with it and pick Rob's side just so that my cover would be used for a Youngblood cover? Or would I stick with the independent artist who kind of got the shaft, you know? Don't know. What would you guys do? Would you guys hate me if I said, okay, you pick me, grateful for the opportunity? Or would you say, shameless? James is shameless. No honor. I don't know. Me, obviously, if I knew Eric personally, I would not. But I don't know him. And I can be honest and say that he definitely, his entry was definitely easily the best entry, and easily could stand right next to all of the other covers that had come out. Would not begrudge the guy anything. He deserves it. All right. Let's go in for another. Should I go even darker? Let me see. Let's do a number 3 again. Number 3 or 30%. Let's see what you guys are weighing in. Going back to Funk says there's a guy at my church who paid for 2 commissions from him, but he still hasn't delivered. I actually work with a guy from Starcross Comics who said that he paid Rob for a cover, and Rob took the money. It was like $5,000. The down payment was $5,000, and never happened. And then so he paid him with PayPal or whatever, and so he said, "Hey, am I ever going to get my cover?" And then he got blocked, and so he went through PayPal and like took his money back. And so, yeah, that is a reputation that it's not. It is a known it is a known thing. Made it back, looking great. Thank you, Patrick Daniel. Thank you. The winning artwork looked great in my opinion. Absolutely, absolutely. Christopher Works says, nice work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And whatever side you pick, God will still love you. Amen. Amen. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And it's not a big deal. You know, like, my goodness, if I say no, who cares? If I say yes, fantastic. You know, who cares? Get the love, get the hate, and get on with life. You know, this is a hobby. It would be fantastic to be recognized by others, but not gonna change much. So, all right, we're gonna speed it up and try to get to the inks here. Let's see. Let's do. Is this the? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go one more darker and do a 70%. And then that'll be as dark as I'll feel comfortable doing. Unless I noodle around with it after I ink it, and then maybe go to the 90. And the 90 isn't as dark as 90% grays aren't as dark as it doesn't feel like the next step would be black. You know, that's 100% cool gray would be black, I would assume, because it only goes up to C9 or 90%. 90%. So, yeah, so Rob just came out with that, I think, yesterday, saying that he's going to pick somebody else and give them the honor. The honor. So I had to see if I mentally would jump at the chance or not. Who knows? Waste of time to think about it if it's not a choice I actually have to make. Right? All right. Kabamski. I never did the 50% up there. Maybe need to go 50% up here. Give that a little bit of transition. Give that a little bit of extra transition. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, that's disappointing to hear that you also have a friend with a story that Rob took the money for a commission and did not follow through. You know, obviously we were all fans. Like, those are fans who loved his work or liked his work enough to commission him. So it's disappointing when he seems like he's all about the fans, and then not. All right, I'm gonna snap another picture real quick, and then we'll go in with the inks. and then I'll show you the commercial for the pre-order of Alpha Red number 7, which is just, you get the regular cover. Where are my inks here? You get the choice of, you don't really get the choice. Yeah, you get the regular cover, or you get to buy the whole set if you're trying to catch up. But I look at the Rippaverse and I go, all these people are pre-ordering, and I get them too. I have a set of ISOM, all 3 of them. So, but it's just a different business model, and I just wonder why it works for him and why it doesn't work. It did. I think I got 1 pre-order the last time with Alpha Red number 6. We did the pre-order through the Starcross Comics website. And we can't do it through this one because we have moved hosts. Like, he had to redo the whole website. And so it's harder to do a lot of this stuff. Like, I don't even think he has the digital copies available. And that, to me, should be relatively easy. I forgot I wanted to do the eyes first. I want to do the eyes first. If you don't get the eyes right. Let me pull it up here. And they laid on the eyeliner in the movie, apparently. Maybe they were trying to make her look more Asian. Clearly not. Clearly not. Usually Marvel stuff is trying to go the other way, where they have a white character and they make it a minority character. But in the case of Silk, they took an Asian character and turned her white. What's up with that? What's up with that, Sony? I'm kidding. I'm not offended. I actually didn't know who the character was. So I don't care. Let me see here. Funk says, have you started talking to your wife about going to Comic-Con next year? July 23rd to 26th. I'm going to write that down. 23rd through 26th. So we know some friends from around here. July. I got to write that down. 2026. Whose son moved out to San Diego, and he was working for John MacArthur's church. I think he still works for whatever church that is. I know John MacArthur passed away, but I thought maybe I could bum some space on the ground at their son's house to save on money. Save some money. So everything is about, maximizing the profit so that I can get more money for more Alpha Red. It's really the goal for right now. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice if Alpha Red could support himself. The comic could support itself. But until more people know about him, it's unlikely. Unless I have like an angel donor who swoops in and writes me a big check. That would be pretty cool, methinks. So I will talk to her about that for sure. Rob does occasionally message my friend to tell him he's working on it. Well, I mean, that's good. I asked my wife without missing a beat. She said, no. It sounds like you were talking to my wife too. Are you going to try to do Baltimore Comic Con? I used to do Baltimore Comic Con every year for like 5 or 6 years in the early 2000s. It was a fantastic show. I would rave about that show. But I used to live down in Harrisburg, and so that made it much easier. It was about an hour and a half away, but it would be about 5.5 hours away, Christopher. So it's unlikely. I am talking to my buddy Matt Flint about maybe going down to Heroes Con next year. He said he went as a fan with his buddy, and then his buddy wrangled him into some volunteer work so that he got paid while he was down there. I don't know if they gave him a free ticket in there then for helping out. He was like the helper for a guest, and so that would be quite the hike. I think Heroes Con is down in North Carolina, so that would be really cool, and that's kind of on my radar now. San Diego is on my radar. So Christopher, are you down that way? Is that a convention that you like? You see here, it comes over her shoulder like so. And make sure it's in there. And I have a white marker that is pretty good. I have Jim Lee's white marker thing. And man, that thing can lay out some white out. Here, I'll show it to you. I don't think I need it for this, but I don't know if you've ever watched Jim Lee. He has this Presto stuff, and I have a lot of these whiteout pens and stuff. I have this whole bundle of like these. This one works really good for a while, and then it stops. They varying degrees of success. But when I tried that other thing, the Jim Lee Presto, whatever that he always uses, and he like draws with that thing, and it's pretty amazing because he does it because you can actually draw with it. It comes out fast enough that you can actually draw with that. I don't even know what you call it. It's a whiteout dispenser. It's not a pen. It's hard to. Actually, I'll use it right here. Eventually, here when I show it coming out, I think it comes out of her wrist or her hand because I've seen artists draw it where she's going like this and the silk is spitting out of her hand. You live in central Pennsylvania. That makes much more sense. I grew up in central Pennsylvania, so I lived in Harrisburg for 36 years. So that made it easy for me to go to the Pittsburgh Comic Con and then the Baltimore Comic Con. Those were my two favorite ones. My friend who also went this past year said that both our wives earned Purple Hearts after coming with us to 5 Comic-Cons. Wow, 5. Yikes. My wife went with me to Baltimore one year, and I think she was pregnant with our youngest, and she brought the 2 other ones, and wow, she couldn't get out of there fast enough. She has no desire to ever come back to another comic convention. It is, she does homeschool stuff, so it is just as painful for me to sit through some homeschool stuff, unless I'm selling Alpha Red. So when I'm selling Alpha Red at homeschool conventions, I'm having fun. So it's all relative, I guess. And she has zero interest in comic book stuff. So I asked her if she would come with me to Fantastic Four, because I thought she signaled to me that, hey, it looks like a kind of a family-ish type of comic thing. And but I asked her on Friday. I said, hey, so Fantastic Four, what do you think? She's like, nope, I already went with you to a comic book movie, and that's all we're doing. I was like, darn it. So I'm going to see if I can convince my daughter to go with me. Father-daughter date, you know. Let's see here. How does it go over her shoulder? So this has a sharp thing. It comes down. Sharp, sharp, sharp over here. That's where that comes down. And that goes up. Without missing a beat, huh, Patrick Daniel? She says, no thanks. Until we win the lottery. Nope. Fox says, I think your wife would like coming to Comic-Con on Sunday. The Christian Comics Art Society does a Sunday service at the convention. That'd be cool. She could probably be persuaded to go out to San Diego just because it's San Diego. I don't know if she would want to partake in any comic thing. I'd have to really convince her that I needed the help. But if you are saying that you would be willing to help me out at the table for Alpha Red, she would use that as a get out of jail free card. Without missing a beat. Without missing a beat. Too funny. Too funny. Yeah, I feel like with doing the colors first, it definitely gives me a different mindset when I'm inking. I'm like, oh, I don't have to create that form again because it's already there. Like I use the color to create that form instead of using like a line like this to kind of, which is what I would do to kind of remind myself that there's a form that I want to maintain. And so really have to kind of walk away from it a little bit and then come back and see if I can add some more lines. because I do like all the rendering lines. It's definitely something that I enjoy doing when I'm doing my black and white artwork. So I do enjoy seeing the pictures in color. I just wish that the markers, these alcohol markers, wouldn't smear the inks. If I lay the inks down first and I go in, it just wreaks havoc sometimes. Wreaks havoc sometimes, depending on the paper, depending on, I feel like it's dependent on the color too. Like different colors interact differently with the inks. So yeah, I don't know. Do you guys do the pre-orders from Rippaverse? Or do you partake in the Rippaverse comics? As I was coming back to comic books at the end of 2023, because I ran for political office in 2023, and it really kind of pushed everything back. And when I didn't win, I put my focus back on my artwork on Alpha Red. And what I was finding, I found the Rippaverse, and I was finding these crowdfunding campaigns and Comicsgate and all this stuff. And I started connecting with as many people as I could, honestly, just to network and learn from everybody. And so I was very inspired by the Rippaverse. But I haven't seen where anybody can really replicate the success that he had on his first couple of campaigns, like millions of dollars. Like that blew the Comicsgate guys out of the water. They had like 6 figures for sure, but they weren't making millions. Definitely were not making millions. And so I was excited that maybe that was what the fan base was ready for. It's kind of direct to consumer, and they were open to trying new things. Obviously, Eric had his YouTube channel. He's had the music thing. He was on Blaze. All those things contributed to a fan base, a pre-existing fan base. But I've seen other people who have fan bases, and they don't seem to have the $1 million success for sure on campaigns. That's shocking. It was shocking. I think it shocked a lot of people. I think that's caused some jealousy and then splintered the Comicsgate movement. But anybody on the Rippaverse? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I missed a bunch of stuff here. Patrick Daniel says, we should get off the interstate in Harrisburg going to Canandaigua. Yeah, like a lot of people know where Harrisburg is. I didn't know where Syracuse was, and I live in Syracuse now. So, but anybody I ask, like around here, like, oh, I grew up in Harrisburg. Like, oh yeah, I've been through Harrisburg, stopped there, did something. I'm like, holy smokes. Some of those views in the hills near Marysville are gorgeous. Absolutely. You're looking at the Blue Ridge Mountains there. They're Appalachian. They're part of the Appalachian Trail. So to color a black costume, you just use gray and then progressively go darker. That's how I do it. Yep, for sure. Like with markers, you want to go light to dark. But like when you color on the computer, I've seen, who was it? Somebody was saying you go from dark to light when you're computer coloring. Don't give up, Patrick. With God, all things are possible. Did I miss something? Maybe I missed something. Ministerial Comics. That looks great, Mr. Nguyen. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you. I don't know if you guys checked out my interview with Pedro on Ministerial Comics. You should check that out. He's starting up a YouTube channel. Mr. Zero. How you doing, Shay? Good to see you here, bro. I bought comics from Rip Reverse. It's good stuff. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. And it's getting better with I like Chuck Dixon, like obviously Eric July is new to writing comics. So, and it shows, it's hard to get through it in one sitting. Actually have ISOM number 3 within arm's reach here. And I've read the first 2, and I should it should give me the desire to read the final act in his story on ISOM. But I am not I've had it for like a month and a half, and I've still not read it. So, I mean, I've been busy with Alpha Red number 7, but yeah, I mean, I'll get the latest issue of Transformers, and that I devour that thing, in less than an hour after I bring it through my front door. So it's not that I don't have time, which I don't have a lot of time, but how you prioritize what books you read really tell you what books get you excited and inspire you. So all right, guys, it's almost done. One more pass with a thicker brush pen, and we'll call it finito. I don't know what language that is. Is that Italian? Finito. I don't know, Funk. Do we have any cool Vietnamese words that can be interchangeable, that if we said it, non-Vietnamese speaking people would immediately recognize it? Like finito. All right, let's add some real contrast here. We're just gonna make sure that the shadows really kind of come through there. We're gonna go through with her ribs there. She needs a burger, but that looks good. Let's get some of that contrast that I'm always talking about, but always struggling with. Yeah, there we go. Get some underneath here. Instead of just dark gray, it'll be the absolute darkness. And I forgot I was going to go back and use that white pen and really kind of show you how it flows out of here. Hopefully I don't ruin the picture here. Let me make sure it's writing. All right. So just gotta Kind of makes things a little bit more intentional looking. Like it's a, and then you can go back and then add whatever lines to help sell the effect that you're trying to achieve with these white lines. See, kabamski. Then we'll let that dry a little bit as we work on this. And I'm going to show you the commercial for Alpha Red number 7 pre-order. And hopefully you guys can. I'm working on the Fun My Comic page for the pre-order. So that will come. That will link to the shopalphared.com website. URL thing. So go back to this one. So I don't know if you guys are interested in this, but I'll put it up on Etsy shortly. And it'll be $30. $30. And it all goes to future issues of Alpha Red. So waste not, want not. All right, let's see if, just go in here and make it feel like it was intentional. Like whatever is happening in here that squirts the silk out of her hand here. You can break through that. All right, guys. Let's watch the commercial. I think it's like a minute. So let's see if I miss anything. Let me see. Let me see. All right. Christopher says Pilot V5 was one of my favorite pens to draw with. Bro, I just rediscovered them. They've been sitting in my art bag for a long, long time. And the reason why I stopped using them was because they would smear. I loved how dark, crisp and dark they were, but they were always smearing. So I kind of put that aside when I could afford. I was able to afford the microns, and everybody used the microns. So I was like, that's got to be better because all the pros use it. But the Pilot, the precision, oh my goodness, it's like I'm back on it. I'm back in love with it. So, and then the brush pens really just kind of give it the more polished look after I do all the things that I do with the precise, the V5, the V7. Yeah. So Patrick says, only pens I ever drew with were microns. Good stuff. Still prefer the brush and ink any day. Yep. It's good. I really do need to work on that because it's the amount of ink that comes out that limits me with any of the pens. But if you have the brush and the ink, it's like unlimited, right? Funk says Mysterio Comics in the house. Still need to watch the interview with James. Yep. You gotta jump over there. If she was wearing jeans, I'm sure she would look great. She does indeed. I have to think about cool Vietnamese words. Yes, think about them and let me know. Now I want to see the Brooke Shields and Sydney Sweeny do jeans commercials together. Does Brooke Shields still look good? Does she still look good? All right, guys, let me show you the commercial. It's 1 minute long. Hang in there with me. Watch this. Well, I hope you guys like that. I'll have Shop Alpha Red comic, shopalphared.com, up and running probably tomorrow. It depends on when Luke Stone approves the pre-order Fund My Comic site. So that'll link to the pre-orders. And if you missed the campaign, you can get caught up on Shop Alpha Red comic, or just shopalphared.com. It's getting late, and I'm getting old. So guys, thank you so much for joining me each week. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, closing out the week with me, preparing for the week ahead, and hanging out. So thank you for coming. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next week. Grace and peace. We are out.
From the shadows he rises with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start with faith as his armor and a fire in his soul. Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission and work. Guided by God, with strength from above, he battles the darkness with unyielding love. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Alpha Red. When the night seems too long and hope seems so far, look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.